The beginning of human pride is to forsake the Lord. The heart has withdrawn from its Maker. For the beginning of pride is sin, and the one who clings to it pours out abominations. Therefore the Lord brings upon them unheard of calamities, and destroys them completely. The Lord overthrows the thrones of rulers, and enthrones the lowly in their place. The Lord plucks up the roots of the nations, and plants the humble in their place. The Lord lays waste the lands of the nations, and destroys them to the foundations of the earth. He removes some of them, and destroys them, and erases the memory of them from the earth. Pride was not created for human beings, or violent anger for those born of women.
This week's reading is a real rocket. The beginning of human pride is to forsake the Lord. The heart has withdrawn from its Maker. What a hard-hitting passage. And it reminds us of the need for humility and to recognise our proper place in the great universe which God has created. Human beings know that we're totally dependent on God for pretty much everything. But we live in a culture which idolises success. Our society encourages us to think that if we apply ourselves, we might be successful. And there are plenty of people out there who seem to think that their success is all down to them. Now, it's a good thing that we feel that we can succeed in the world. And it's certainly a good thing that we should take responsibility for the things we do in our lives, and we try to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. But the temptation is we start to forget how much we rely on God, and we start to think that it's all about us. Prayer is important because when we're praying at our best, we're in communion with God. And we come to realise what our heart already knows, which is that we are utterly dependent upon God. Our hearts cry out to God the Creator. As the psalmist says, deep calls to deep. And so establishing a prayer routine can be really helpful in keeping our proper humility. This weekend, Cardiff is hosting PRIDE Cymru. It's a great celebration of the LGBTQIA+ community. And there will be some Christians who say, the clue is in the name, pride. Pride is wrong. But that's not necessarily so, because it's not what PRIDE Cymru is about. PRIDE Cymru is about a celebration of people, a valuing of people, and it's about human flourishing. For those of you who follow the Church of England, you'll be aware that at its recent synod in July, Reverend Andrew Hammond drew a distinction between the sin of pride and its opposite virtue of humility. And he contrasted this with pride as a movement, which he said the opposite of pride as a movement was humiliation. What these pride events are doing is avoiding humiliation and enabling human flourishing. Human flourishing and community are godly and good things. So if you've been at Pride or get a chance to go to a Pride celebration, I hope you enjoy it. But all of us need to remember our utter reliance on God and the importance of humility in our lives. None of us achieves what we achieve through our own strength. Prayer and reading scripture are important tools in keeping our humility. And it is indeed a virtue of God.